Some news stories for you. Firstly, Tigray government has responded to Ethiopian government's announcement of humanitarian truce in Ethiopia in Tigray. A statement has been released by Tigray government. We'll try to analyze this statement. What does it mean? And secondly, Oromo Liberation Front, a political party based in Oromia, led by Daud Ibsa, has released a statement. OLF has shared some details about recent incidents which happened in Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia. OLF claims that ethnic cleansing of Oromos is being committed by three forces in Benishangul Gumuz. Some details have been shared by OLF. We'll try to have a detailed look at this statement as well, because we have heard from OLA as well that some youth have been kidnapped by some forces in Dibate, Wareda of BG in some previous statements. Firstly, we were waiting for Tigray's response. Last night, Ethiopian government announced humanitarian truce in Tigray in Ethiopia. It urged Tigray fighters to withdraw from the areas under their control in neighboring regions. It announced to start delivery of aid to Tigray immediately. Now we are waiting for Tigray's official response. Tigray has now issued a statement. What is this statement saying? Firstly, the statement says that Tigray always wanted a peaceful solution to conflict, but it was forced to enter into a war 17 months ago. First point. Secondly, it says that restoration of telecommunication and banking and other services and unfettered delivery of aid to Tigray could have saved countless lives. It did not happen. Now, Tigray government is ready to implement cessation of hostilities immediately if 2 points. Firstly, the people of Tigray need a right amount of aid and within a time frame. So Tigray is ready if flow of aid into Tigray starts and people continuously and sufficiently receive aid. No, and in coming hours, not in coming weeks. So Tigray wants action now, that this delivery must start immediately. Lastly, Tigray says that it would be unacceptable to link political and humanitarian issues. So no matter what happens regarding border disputes, regarding withdrawal of forces, this delivery of aid to Tigray must continue. That is what Tigray is saying. Now, Ethiopian government in its statement had urged Tigray fighters to withdraw from neighboring regions. No word on that in Tigray government statement. Will Tigray forces withdraw from Afar Amhara? No word on that. But definitely something might have been agreed in the talks. These two statements are definitely a result of the indirect talks going on for some time. With the mediation of African Union, US, these statements were issued. So, some details might have been agreed regarding withdrawal of Tigray forces from neighboring regions, but so far Tigray has not said a word about any withdrawal in this statement. Withdrawal could start from afar in coming days. That's my analysis. Withdrawal from Amhara could be difficult. But Tigray says that linking of humanitarian issues and political issues, it is unacceptable. Overall, Tigray seems to be welcoming this move. Both Tigray government and Ethiopian government, they have agreed on delivery of aid to Tigray, unfettered delivery of aid to Tigray which will happen through afar, I think. As we discussed in the previous video, that through Amhara delivery of aid to Tigray is not possible due to emotions running high in Amhara against Tigray government. So delivery of aid will be through afar, I think. Overall, we can sum up that Tigray and Ethiopian governments, with the mediation of international regional partners, have agreed on delivery of aid to Tigray. Some details have been agreed in the background regarding withdrawal from some areas, which will happen in coming days. It's not that Tigray forces will remain in Afar and delivery of aid to Tigray will start. It cannot happen. Afar's position is very much clear. Afar president said 2 days ago that there wouldn't be any delivery of aid to Tigray through Afar until and unless there is presence of Tigray forces in Afar. So Tigray forces will have to withdraw from Afar for delivery of aid to Tigray through Afar. It will start in coming days. We'll keep you updated. Good thing is that both sides have shown some flexibility. Tigray has stepped back a little from its position, and Ethiopian government is stepping back too. Tigray has stepped back more, I think, because Tigray is still under a siege, but it has decided to stop hostilities. It has agreed on cessation of hostilities. Earlier position of Tigray was that it would keep on fighting until the siege is lifted. Does provision of aid means lifting of siege? No, it does not. Siege is still there even if this aid is delivered. So that is why Tigray has stepped back a little due to the crisis, humanitarian crisis ongoing in Tigray. It's a good development. It's a positive change, I think. Both sides should consolidate this new development which could lead to peaceful solution to this conflict. Now, secondly, viewers, Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, political party led by Dawood Ibsa, has released a statement. The party says that ethnic cleansing of Oromos is being carried out in Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia. Who is involved in this ethnic cleansing? OLF says that Ethiopian National Defense Force, Amhara Special Force and Amhara Fano are operating in several parts of BG, and ethnic Oromos are being targeted. They are being extrajudicially killed. They are being abducted. 3 incidents have been mentioned in the statement of OLF. OLF says that on the 15th of March, a pregnant woman, Birhane Ragasa, was beheaded in BG. On the 17th of March, 18 Oromo students were traveling. They were riding a bus. The bus was stopped and the students were abducted. OLF has shared names of 12 students, that these were Oromo students who are in custody, who were abducted by Amhara forces. And thirdly, OLF says that on the 22nd of March, an Oromo Kiro was extrajudicially killed. His name is Amsalo Amante, and it happened, I think, in Dibate. OLA also spoke about abduction of more than a dozen Oromo youth in Dibate, Warada. Government-backed news sources say that these Oromo youths were abducted by some unknown armed group. OLA say that government forces, Amhara forces, are behind the abduction of these Oromo youth. So far, no clarification about who is behind the disappearance of more than a dozen Oromo youth in Dibate. It should be independently investigated. OLF is calling upon international community to impose sanctions on Ethiopian government, to stop all military assistance to Ethiopian government and Eritrean government, and it is urging the international community to declare the acts happening in Benishangul Gumuz as acts of terrorism, as acts of ethnic cleansing against Oromos. Benishangul Gumuz is seriously destabilized. We know that here an incident happened a few days ago in which some Tigrayans were burnt alive by regional forces of SNNPR and Amhara regional force. Before that, a convoy of ENDF escorting some dam workers was ambushed, and dozens of ENDF soldiers and dam workers were killed. OLA is operating there. Gumuz fighters are operating there, and now several regional forces have arrived there as well to protect the dam side. So there is growing insecurity, instability in BG. Government is trying to control this situation by deploying more troops, but I think some political solution is required. Otherwise, things will keep on worsening in BG. I think, Foj.